Security guards are hired to protect their clients, not get sent to Suplex City by Brock Lesnar or put through a windshield by Big E. This isn't even half of it, as some security guards are forced to stand against some of the toughest and most ruthless superstars sports entertainment has ever seen. Today, we're diving into the disastrous encounters that WWE security guards have had to put through and survive. Hold on to your seats because this is going to be wild. Ronda Rousey. The former UFC champion and WWE superstar Ronda Rousey is well known for her fierce and fearless approach to situations. She doesn't hesitate to prove why she is the baddest woman on the planet, and sometimes she uses victims to prove this point. Ronda returned to WWE SmackDown to get her suspension lifted. She was met with resistance from a WWE official, Adam Pearce. Pearce emerged with several security guards and asked Ronda to leave the ring in peace. The superstar chose the violent route, sending the guards into the ring. Ronda, however, attacked and took them down one by one, making it seem easy while doing so. Pearce stood in shock as he watched his security get obliterated by the baddest woman on the planet. The last guard was the most unfortunate, as Ronda held him in her infamous armbar. Pearce begged her not to proceed, but to no avail. Pearce called for backup. This time, his help came from the police. That's right, actual police officers made their way to the ring. Ronda stepped out of the ring as the officers arrived, and the crowd was expecting all hell to break loose. Some went as far as screaming, "Break their arms." This was definitely more than what the former UFC champion bargained for. Ronda allowed the officers to place her in handcuffs and escort her from the arena. As for the security guards who she viciously attacked, well, let's hope they're all right. Brock Lesnar. The Beast Incarnate comes second to none in terms of sheer horror and brutality. The former UFC and WWE champion has had several encounters with security guards and even the police. When the going gets tough, he easily, and I mean easily, sends his victim to Suplex City. Lesnar arrived at the contract signing for one of the biggest WrestleMania matches of all time. His opponent, the self-proclaimed tribal chief Roman Reigns, surrounded himself with several guards with the excuse of protecting Lesnar from his impulsiveness. Lesnar responded with a threat that probably sent shivers down Roman's spine. His entire entourage felt that message, and being the sneaky cowards that they are, delivered the almighty F5 on one guard. And you guessed it, sent another guard to Suplex City. Roman and his entourage watched in horror as Roman realized what he had gotten himself into. It all ended with Lesnar standing tall with a smile on his face. Roman Reigns. The fan-favorite WWE superstar has a phenomenal reputation in the industry. He stands as a former champion that the audience will never forget. Every great superstar has had one or two fallouts with authority, especially Roman, with his past dealings as a member of the Shield. During Roman's reign as the Raw heavyweight champion, he and the Celtic Warrior didn't see eye to eye. Roman arrived on Friday Night SmackDown after dealing heavy damage to Raw managers some days earlier. The big dog spoke to his fans, but was suddenly interrupted by Sheamus. The Celtic Warrior claimed to be a messenger and attempted to kick Roman off the show. Talk about a weak plot to steal the show. Roman, being the big dog that he is, refused to leave and asked Sheamus to make him. Things got way more interesting as several security guards emerged. Roman chose not to leave without a fight and prepared for an all-out war. The guards trooped into the ring and were thrown right back out with barely any effort from Roman landed his signature Superman punch on the largest guard and sure did rub it on Sheamus's face. Braun Strowman. Braun considers himself the biggest, baddest, and strongest WWE superstar in the industry. The monster among men has gone toe-to-toe with some incredible superstars, including the likes of Omos, the Nigerian giant, and the Beast Incarnate Brock Lesnar. You shouldn't be surprised when I say the monster among men has had fun ragdolling people around, including security guards. On Monday Night Raw general manager Kurt Angle fired Braun for his general misconduct. Several guards attempted to escort Braun out of the building, but all hell broke loose as they arrived backstage. The monster among men realized he could do whatever he wanted and didn't have to listen to anyone. He decimated the security guards, throwing them around like they were nothing more than paper. Braun went on a rampage in the building. His mission was simple: to ensure everyone gets these hands. Braun made his way to the television production trucks, one of the company's most expensive assets, and scared every single person there. The rampage didn't end there. The monster among men returned to the arena this time, setting his eyes on the commentators. One commentator was unlucky, and Braun used his helpless body to do some work out around the stage. Kurt quickly de-escalated the situation and informed Braun that he was no longer fired. Talk about a quick save, right? Braun had one more trick up his sleeve, which was throwing the commentator into the crowd of security guards. John Cena. The living legend and face of WWE was often known for his ruthless aggression in the ring. The 16-time world champion did what needed to be done to make it to the top. Sometimes that included dealing damage to those who stood in his way. Even security wasn't spared from this, as the legend himself wouldn't hesitate to tear through a few guards once in a while. Cena had quite the beef with Batista, the WWE champion at the time, and they were scheduled to settle their disputes at the next WrestleMania event. Batista didn't hesitate to belittle Cena and the audience at any given opportunity. In this particular instance, Batista surrounded himself with security guards, probably in fear of the legend. Well, Cena had enough of the insults and made his way to the ring. He pointed out how terrible Batista was at his job. This angered the champion, and he charged at Cena. Well, it's safe to say that he made a huge mistake as Cena retaliated. A brawl ensued, and the security guards tried holding the legend down, giving Batista an opening to strike. The security guards heavily underestimated Cena's strength as he overpowered them and rushed to his target. Batista rolled out of the ring in a narrow escape, leaving the security guards to handle Cena. Yeah, that was a bad idea because Cena cleared the ring in the blink of an eye. Multiple referees emerged to calm the legend down while Batista ran away. Shinsuke Nakamura. It's no surprise to see the king of strong style on this list. The Japanese phenom made his first mark in WWE NXT, where he was the NXT champion twice. It didn't take long for him to make his way to the blue corner, SmackDown. Nakamura had a run-in with the infamous Samoa Joe on WWE NXT after defeating him and taking the NXT championship title from him. At their contract signing event, Joe refused to enter the ring with Nakamura and brought his table, which he placed on the entrance ramp. Joe belittled the NXT official and also threatened to put down Nakamura if he acted out. The king of strong style kept his calm as long as he possibly could. The official took the contract to Joe, who was seated with his legs crossed on the table. Joe didn't hesitate to sign, but neither did Nakamura. The match was official after Nakamura signed the contract. Unfortunately, he wanted to get his hands on more than just a contract. Nakamura dropped the contract on the ring, and to everyone's surprise, began his assault on the security guards who surrounded him. The guards didn't stand a chance as their attempts to stop him were futile. Nakamura gave Joe a sneak peek at what their fight was going to look like. He picked up a security guard and power-bombed him through a table. Now that's what I call brutal. Goldberg. This beast of a man stood above the entire WWE roster. He dominated the franchise and was feared by everyone, both superstars and the authorities alike. The Hall of Famer had his fair share of ruthless aggression toward the WWE security team. I mean, if superstars can't stop him, who can? Goldberg returned to the ring after being in retirement for 12 long years. He stood against the beast incarnate Brock Lesnar on Monday Night Raw. Lesnar surrounded himself with several security guards, while his manager Paul Heyman talked smack about him. Heyman crossed the line when he brought Goldberg's son into the conversation. That only provoked the beast further as he began tearing through the security guards. They didn't stand a chance against him. 3 guards realized this fact and made the best decision, which was running for their lives. This crowd began cheering and chanting, "Goldberg, Goldberg," as Lesnar walked away. Shane McMahon. As a key member of the authority and heir to the billion-dollar company, Shane McMahon stands as a phenomenal superstar. Some consider him as death-defying as he performs some daredevil decisions both in and out of the ring. Well, Shane made it on this list for a reason. Even the heir to the throne can get in trouble with the one who remains on the throne, Vince McMahon. Shane appeared on Monday Night Raw and had a thing or two to say about his father's management of the company. It appeared he was tired of the old ways and wanted to bring in something new. These words didn't go unheard, as the CEO himself emerged and decided to have a heart-to-heart talk with his son. Vince belittles his son and goes as far as removing him from his will. The drama doesn't end there, though. The CEO pulls out a picture of him holding a young Shane. He proceeds to shatter the framed image and calls security. The security guards make their way to the ring to remove Shane from the premises, but we all know that Shane doesn't leave without a fight. He pulverized the security detail while letting out his pent-up frustration. Vince watched in shock as the guards were put out of commission. Shane asked his father to step into the ring, even holding the ropes open for him, Dean Ambrose. This list would be nowhere near complete without the lunatic fringe himself. The former WWE champion and member of the Hounds of Justice has a reputation for being a terror to whoever opposes him. Ambrose doesn't hesitate to put his body on the line. All that matters is dealing as much damage to his opponent. Ambrose found himself going against his former partner's personal security detail in a 2-on-1 handicap match. Seth Rollins, Ambrose's former partner and betrayer of the group, had his security go against the lunatic fringe. It seemed like an unfair match. I mean, unfair unfair for the security team. The match began, and both members of the team were allowed to be in the ring at the same time. This wasn't a problem for Ambrose, as he ragdolled each of them one by one. Jamie began begging Ambrose to spare him, but Ambrose didn't know what mercy was. The security detail did inflict some damage on the lunatic fringe, but it was nowhere near enough to stop him or even slow him down. Ambrose landed a wicked close line on the team and sent them flying across the commentary table. He came close to a win but was stopped by Jimmy. Another close line came shortly after, and Ambrose landed his infamous dirty deeds on Jamie. The match ended with a pretty predictable result, but this shows that even private security isn't safe from the lunatic fringe. Big E. Next on our list, we've got Big E. Well, his name doesn't describe him well because he is big. This hefty superstar is best known as a member of the New Day, with his partners Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston. Their performance and cooperation easily make the audience happy and excited to watch more. Sometimes the oh-so-cheerful Big E can show just how much of a monster he truly is. The SmackDown superstar was celebrating his birthday with friends when a security guard told him his partner, Xavier Woods, had just arrived for the party. Big E followed, but instead of meeting Xavier, he was met with an ambush from the Celtic Warrior himself. Sheamus dealt serious damage to Big E and went as far as driving him through a windshield. The rivalry didn't end there, as Big E had revenge in mind. Just 2 weeks after the devastating attack, Sheamus gets a report that someone is messing with his car. He and the security guard rush to the parking lot to know what's going on, and like a scary assassin, Big E emerges. He doesn't waste time to begin his attack. Sheamus, being the cunning superstar he is, escaped the attack. The security guard wasn't so lucky, and Big E obliterated him as revenge for setting him up. Some referees rush to Big E to stop him, but he doesn't listen. Revenge remains the only thing on his agenda. Big E proceeds to repeat history and drives the security guard through a car's windshield. He also drags the guard around and throws him in the car's trunk. Now that's how you get revenge. Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley can easily be called one of the most decorated athletes in all of sports entertainment. From being a 3-time wrestling national champion to being a 4-time wrestling All-American, Lashley's career is beyond impressive. Oh, I forgot to mention that Lashley served his country in the military and is a 2-time Armed Forces champion. Talk about impressive, am I right? Lashley took these incredible stats to the WWE, where he has stood as a dominant force. Unfortunately, the Almighty won't hesitate to throw you out of his way when trying to get the job done. Lashley had a fallout with the Nigerian giant Omos. MVP, who was his former partner, betrayed him and went with the Nigerian giant. At a contract signing event, Lashley sat before his former friend and adversaries as he prepared to agree to a 2-on-1 handicap match. He signed the contract, but MVP wasn't satisfied and wanted to give the audience a sneak peek at what was coming. The Almighty was as ready as always and cleared the stage for the impending battle. Several security guards rushed in to stop what was about to be an epic brawl. Their efforts were in vain as both Lashley and Omos sent the security guards flying out of the ring. Cedric Alexander, who is in cahoots with Omos and MVP, suddenly attacks Lashley, and the group gangs up on him. Omos returns to the ring with a table and prepares to put Lashley through it. The Almighty does what he does best and breaks free. He lands a devastating spear on Omos, which sends him through the table and leaves him stunned. Randy Orton. Ah yes, the Viper himself has to be on this list. There would be no list without our apex predator. Orton comes from a bloodline of superstars and has the genes coded in him. His legacy in the WWE may never be matched, as he became the youngest world heavyweight champion in WWE history. Orton has come close to breaking the record, but just isn't there yet. We shouldn't be surprised when we hear that Orton has had his disagreements with the Authority. I mean, he's not a man known for allegiances, and has a knack for brutally putting an end to whichever one he finds himself in. The apex predator had a serious beef with Seth Rollins and was eager to give him a taste of his own medicine. Sadly, Rollins was a puppet of the Authority and had a lot of protection. At one point, it seemed like Orton had put the beef behind him and even shook hands with Rollins. Unfortunately for Rollins, he was met by the most brutal letters in the entire entertainment industry, RKO. Orton fought off the Authority and their security. Triple H tried de-escalating the situation and was seemingly successful. Well, that is until Orton struck him with a devastating elbow and continued his attack on the security team. Unfortunately for Orton, these weren't your usual security guards, and they overpowered the Viper. Rollins, being the spineless puppet that he was, took the opportunity to land a devastating curb stomp on Orton, leaving him defeated on the steel steps. Cody Rhodes. The American Nightmare has been a fierce adversary to all who hold the title of WWE Superstar. Rhodes is well known in the industry for his determination and fearlessness. He's also a death-defying athlete, fighting even when his body can't go further. Such a man will stop at nothing to take down who or whatever gets in his way. This time, the American Nightmare set his eyes and hands on the beast incarnate, Brock Lesnar. Rhodes stepped into the ring with a fire no one could quench. He called out Lesnar, but was met by WWE official Adam Pearce. Pearce asked Rhodes to leave as he wasn't medically fit to be in the ring. Rhodes refused to back down and grabbed a chair from beneath the ring. Several guards were called to escort Rhodes out of the ring, but that didn't happen. The beast incarnate himself emerged while wearing a cowboy hat. Rhodes had his eyes on his target and began beating the security guards that blocked his path. Lesnar watched as the chaos ensued. He knew that the guards would be too much for Rhodes to handle because of their number. Lesnar walked away as the guards held Rhodes down. The American Nightmare eventually freed himself by decimating the guards. He returned to the ring, picked up the microphone, and told everyone just how much of a coward Lesnar is. Samoa Joe. The 282-pound warrior instills so much fear in those who oppose him. He is mostly known for his brutality and submission prowess. Joe's career also motivates a lot of people, as he made his name in several other industries before landing in the big leagues. The submission specialist began his onslaught on WWE NXT, where he captured the title twice. During an NXT show, Karrion Kross took to the stage and said a lot about his displeasure with Samoa Joe. This angered the powerful superstar, and he made his way to the stage while several security guards tried to stop him. They knew what was about to unfold but were too weak to overcome Joe. Kross ran for his life while Joe beat up the security guards. He entered the ring with several guards on his tail but didn't panic. Joe was furious and continued decimating the guards as they entered one by one. The audience cheers as they watch Joe get hold of a security guard. This guard has to be the unluckiest one we've seen yet because Joe raises him and slams him into the ring. That's not all though. As Joe grabbed the unfortunate guard, he placed him in the infamous coquina clutch. The extremely tight chokehold quickly put the security guard to sleep. The submission specialist eventually released the security guard from his grasp. He stood in the middle of the arena and let out a triumphant roar. I'm sure Kross heard that roar from wherever he was and felt shivers go down his spine. D-Generation X. The infamous group of rebel superstars became notorious for acting however they pleased and fighting whoever they wanted to. Its members, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Chyna, X-Pac, and the New Age Outlaws, became a force to be reckoned with, as no one stood a chance against them, not even the authority themselves. DX eventually had a run-in with the top authority of the organization and their superstar of interest. The McMahons made their way to the ring and welcomed none other than the Big Show, a titanic superstar who served as their champion. The Big Show announced an upcoming handicap match against Triple H and Shawn Michaels and threatened to leave them battered afterward. Vince McMahon begins making fun of the audience as they are in support of DX. The audience cheers as he mentions all the damage DX caused him. DX suddenly arrives after listening to all the insults thrown at them and interrupts Vince's speech. Security surrounds the ring to stop Triple H and Shawn Michaels from getting in. Triple H thanks the authority for reminding DX who they are. They rush to the ring and their onslaught begins once Michaels hits a security guard with his chair. The authority quickly leaves the ring as DX gets in. Multiple security guards also rush into the ring to put a stop to the attack, but it is of no use. Triple H strikes the guards with his signature sledgehammer, while Michaels beats them up with his steel chair. They quickly clear the ring, leaving Big Show and the McMahons petrified by what they just witnessed. Enjoyed the video? Crave more excitement? Stay tuned by clicking on any of the cards on your screen right now for more thrilling content. See you next time.